father is trapped in an isolated city, and his 7 sons don their armor to march to war. It is not that they do not know a trap lies ahead, nor that the Liao army is waiting to slaughter them. But the rule of the Yang family is simple. A father may die in battle, but his sons cannot abandon him. Some call this loyalty and righteousness. Others call it a blind devotion forced upon them by fate. Yet the ultimate irony is that what truly pushes the Yang family into a corner is not the blades of the Liao, but the gates closed by the Song Dynasty itself. In this battle, 7 sons set out, but in the end, only one returns home, carrying his father's body on his back. During the Northern Song Dynasty, the Liao army sweeps south, and smoke signals of war billow across the border. The enemy commander is Yelu Yuan. He is no ordinary Liao general. His father died at the hands of Yang Yi 10 years prior. 10 years later, Yelu Yuan leads his troops back into the Central Plains, fighting not just a routine border skirmish, but a long, premeditated campaign of revenge. Yet before the Liao forces even press upon the border, the Yang family is already swept into a storm by a martial arts tournament. The emperor has ordered a tournament to choose a husband for Chai Meirong. The 6th son, Yanzhao, and Chai Meirong are childhood sweethearts who have long harbored feelings for each other. But Yang Yi forbids Yanzhao from entering the arena because Pan Renmei's son, Pan Bao, also seeks to marry Chai Meirong. Grudges between the Pan and Yang families have already run deep for years. If Yanzhao defeats Pan Bao, he will win not a marriage, but deeper animosity. Yanzhao endures it and holds back, but the 7th son, Yansi, cannot bear it. When Pan Bao uses hidden weapons on the stage, Yansi rushes forward to stand up for his older brother. Young and hot-headed, he only wants to defend the honor of the Yang family. He never expects that his impulsiveness will push the Yang family directly onto the chopping block. Pan Bao falls to his death. Consort Pan weeps and pleads before the emperor, and Pan Renmei seizes the opportunity to demand that the entire Yang family pay with their lives. Yang Yi knows that Yansi was reckless, but the Yang family does not flee from discipline. In front of everyone, he punishes both Yanzhao and Yansi with 30 strikes of the rod to their backs. Each strike of the staff enforces the family rules, but also reflects the growing unease in Yang Yi's heart. For the sons of the Yang family must understand from childhood that their blades are not meant for petty jealousy, but for defending the gates of the nation. Just as the Yang family is about to face prosecution, the Liao army invades. The emperor needs Yang Yi to repel the enemy, so Yang Yi is dispatched to the battlefield. But ironically, Yang Yi is not the commander-in-chief. The man who holds the true power to deploy troops is Pan Renmei. On one side is the enemy, Yelu Yuan. On the other, the ally, Pan Renmei. Before their departure, Shi Saihua feels deeply unsettled. She does not worry that Yang Yi can no longer fight, but rather that there are too many variables in this war.
我不是怕你体力不支，是担心此战变数太大。敌方耶律元，蒙方潘仁美，一个是仇人，一个是对头。
夫人放心，我对战辽国多年，未曾一败。至于说到潘国丈，我二人目标一致。 我会竭尽全力阻止辽军进犯，共保大宋江山。
Nevertheless, Yang Yi puts on his armor and sets out.
这么多年了，还是这么合身。
He has fought for many years and has never feared the Liao army, nor is he willing to settle personal grudges in the face of national peril. He believes that, as fellow officials of the Song, Pan Renmei will at least prioritize the greater good. But the battlefield never spares a person simply because they are loyal. At the Battle of Golden Sands, Yang Yi leads his forces in a charge, only to find that the Liao army has already set an ambush. At this moment, if Pan Renmei would only send reinforcements to assist them, Yang Yi would still have a chance to break through. Yet, watching the battle unfold, Pan Renmei turns and orders a retreat. He is not just withdrawing an army, He is cutting off Yang Yi's last hope of survival. Left isolated and surrounded, Yang Yi is struck by a stray arrow. His subordinates fight desperately to save him, retreating into the fortress of Lianglang Mountain. Outside the walls, the Liao army surrounds them in layers. Inside, food and water are nearly depleted, and the wounded soldiers hold the city with their dying breaths. Having fought his entire life, Yang Yi looks old and weary for the very first time. He does not understand how he fell into an ambush so blindly, nor does he understand why Yelu Yuan delays his assault on the city. The answer soon becomes clear. Yelu Yuan is not unable to take Lianglang Mountain. He is waiting. He wants to keep Yang Yi alive, turning this famous Song general into bait. He wants to lure the 7 sons of the Yang family, one by one, into a fatal trap. If the father of the 7 Yang sons simply died in this war, it would only be revenge. But forcing them to die in an attempt to save their father is the true pain Yelu Yuan wants the Yang family to suffer. In Tianbo Manor, Shi Saihua is plagued by endless nightmares. She goes to consult Master Guigu, wanting only to know whether her husband's battle will bring fortune or disaster.
令公是福是祸，请先生明言。
战争乃治祸根源，杨家又服从何来呀？夫人，请回吧。
先生，
Master Guigu did not explain further, leaving behind only a single sentence. Know that destiny cannot be defied. 7 set out, 6 return. These words, like a cold blade, pierce the mother's heart first. Shi Saihua is, of course, terrified. She knows this is an ill omen, but she knows even better that young Ye is still waiting at Lianglang Mountain. And so, she enters the palace to petition the emperor for permission to let her 7 sons march out to save their father. Before their departure, she watches these children, who grew up before her very eyes, don their armor and mount their horses one by one. The eldest son, Yanping, is the backbone of the 7 brothers. A man of few words, he knows best how to shoulder the burdens for everyone. The second son, Yanding, stands by his older brother, calm and resolute. When life and death hang in the balance, he will never leave his brother behind. The third son, Yanguang, is reserved and unassuming, yet he always steps up to take responsibility when the unit faces its greatest danger. The fourth son, Yanhui, and the fifth son, Yande. One dares to charge, the other knows how to heal. Look out for each other every step of the way. Yande, in particular, is skilled in medicine. After Yang Ye is struck by a poisoned arrow, it is he who scrapes the bone to remove the toxin. The sixth son, Yanzhao, is the one Chai Mei Rong waits for, and the one who will ultimately bear the weight of this entire tragedy. The youngest, Yansi, is the most impulsive and the most purely devoted. Storming the tournament arena and later the gates of Huanzhou City, he is like an uncontrollable fire that burns until it consumes even itself. When these 7 stand together, they are still a complete family. But the audience soon realizes that their journey is not a rescue mission, but a homeward path that will leave the brothers behind, one by one, buried in the mountains and rivers. Shi Saihua cannot cry. She is the matriarch of the Yang family, but she is also a mother. She can only bury all her grief and reluctance deep in her eyes. The 7 sons set out. They know the road ahead is treacherous, but not one of them looks back. By the time they reached Golden Beach, blood had already stained the earth red. The ground was littered with the bodies of the Yang army. The Liao soldiers had even brutally hoisted the fallen warriors' corpses on long spears. Yanding picked up the blood-soaked battle standard lying nearby. Soon, they encountered the Liao army. The 7 Yang brothers did not shrink back. Instead, they charged toward the enemy. The Yang soldiers threw oil-filled water skins at the Liao forces, and the archers immediately shot flaming arrows to ignite them. The clash was poised to begin at any second. Fighting their way to Lianglang Mountain, the 7 brothers tear an opening through the encircling Liao army and rush into the isolated fortress. Seeing his sons, Yang Ye's first reaction is not joy, but horror. He knows they have fallen into the trap. Yelu Yuan spared his life precisely to wait for his sons to come to the rescue. Yang Ye immediately orders Yanping to lead his younger brothers away. He would rather die alone at Lianglang Mountain than have his 7 sons perish alongside him. But having made it this far, the sons of the Yang family have no way back. Yanzhao says that their father does not have to leave, and can even fight Yelu Yuan to the death, but he cannot let a single arrow trap him here waiting to die. Yande examines the wound and discovers the arrow was poisoned, and the toxin has already seeped into the bone. To save their father, Yande has no choice but to scrape the bone to remove the poison. As a father, Yang Ye grits his teeth and endures the agony. As a son, Yande's hands tremble.
爹，都是孩儿的错，孩儿这就去环州城逼潘仁美出兵。
爹，六弟，去追！七弟，七弟！
Meanwhile, the battle cries outside the walls draw closer and closer. Just then, young Yansi makes the same mistake once again. He believes that if Pan Renmei would only deploy his troops, his father and brothers could still be saved. So he slips away from Lianglang Mountain alone and rides toward Huanzhou City. The young man still believes that no matter how much Pan Renmei despises the Yang family, he must still have a bottom line in the face of national peril. Arriving at the city gates, he announces his identity, stating that he is young Yansi. He admits that Pan Bao died because of him, promising that if Pan Renmei agrees to send troops to save Yang Ye, he will trade his life for Pan Bao's and submit to any punishment. It is a naive statement, but a deeply pure one. For young Yansi believes that a life can at least be traded for a life, and that a loyal subject can at least expect reinforcements. But standing atop the city gates, Pan Renmei refuses to acknowledge him. Looking coldly at the young son who delivered himself to his doorstep, he falsely declares that he is a Liao soldier in disguise, sent to trick the Song forces into opening the gates. With a single command, thousands of arrows are unleashed. Young Yansi stands below the wall, his body pierced by arrow after arrow. He dies not at the hands of the Liao army, but beneath the fortress walls of his own people. Even crueler, after the slaughter, Pan Renmei orders his body thrown into the river. This impulsive, fiery youth is never even able to bring a proper goodbye back home. Back at Lianglang Mountain, the Liao army launches a massive assault.
七弟呢？
七弟，去环州城找潘仁美了。
大哥，
你就拦不住他吧？
The Yang brothers escort Yang Yi in a breakout, with Hu Yanzan leading them down a treacherous path. Outside the gates lie corpses. On the mountain trails are pursuers. hooves crush loose gravel, and the wind reeks entirely of blood. The soldiers who have followed Yang Yi for years refuse to leave, even knowing they could. They choose to stay and defend the position to the death alongside their commander. Because they know Yang Yi is far more than just a general. He is the one remaining banner worth believing in amidst a chaotic world. The group barely fights their way out of the encirclement, taking temporary refuge in Su Wu Temple. Yang Yi's wounds grow increasingly severe. Looking at his father, young Yanzhao finally speaks the regret weighing on his heart. On the day of the tournament, he failed to stop young Yansi. At Lianglang Mountain, he failed to stop him again. One wrong step led to endless pain, pushing the lives of the entire Yang family forward on a tide of recklessness and hatred. Yang Yi does not blame him. He only says that character determines success or failure, and young Yansi was simply too impatient. At this moment, he is no longer a father scolding his son, but a dying man giving his final instructions. He tells young Yanzhao to return home and marry Chai Meirong. His tone is so peaceful, so impossibly calm, that no one dares to reply. Because everyone can hear that Yang Yi is not speaking of the future. He is letting go of his final worldly cares, one by one.
爹，
杨毅，你找我吗？找我何事啊？苏武大人，你有没有见到我家严四啊？老七呀，已经走了。他去哪里？是否可以带我去找他？
In the night, drifting into a delirious haze, Yang Yi seems to see Su Wu. He sees an old, crippled sheep, still struggling desperately to press forward. Su Wu asks him, is it better to preserve one's honor or to seek survival? Yang Yi looks down at his armor, the glory of half his lifetime, but also the shackles trapping his sons. As long as he lives, his sons will keep fighting to save him. If he does not leave, his sons will not leave either. If the old sheep does not die, the young sheep cannot survive. And so, Yang Yi takes off his armor, stripping away his final earthly attachment. An old veteran who fought his entire life and never feared death is ultimately not defeated by the Liao army. Instead, he chooses to use his own death to leave his sons a path back home. When dawn breaks, young Yande can no longer save his father. Young Yanzhao breaks down. He says he must bring his father home, that their mother is still waiting for him. From that moment on, this thought becomes the only path forward for the remaining brothers. Saving their father has now turned into escorting his body home. The living must return, and the dead must return as well. The Yang family cannot let Yang Yi lie dead in the desolate wilderness, nor can they allow their mother to miss seeing her husband one last time. But Yelu Yuan pursues them. Leading 80 elite cavalrymen himself, he presses up the mountain trail. Young Yanping quickly makes a decision. He tells his younger brothers to go first, staying behind to hold off the pursuers. The brothers refuse, and young Yanding in particular cannot let his older brother face 80 elite cavalrymen alone.
娘在等我们，家里还有很多人在等着我们回去。我留在这里会有办法脱身的，放心吧。 雁门关键。
But young Yanping brings out the prophecy their mother obtained from Master Gui Gu before they left. Know that destiny cannot be defied. 7 set out, 6 return. He promised their mother he would keep his brothers safe and bring them home. Therefore, he must stay behind.
大哥，我明白了，雁门关键。
He tells young Yanping that he does not blame Yang Yi for his own father's death years ago, for the battlefield is naturally a place of life and death. But he cannot let the Yang family go, because his own mother wept day and night, unable to even find her husband's remains, ultimately dying with deep resentment. Thus, he does not merely want Yang Yi to die, he wants the Yang sons to die, one by one. He wants to inflict a pain upon Shi Saihua even deeper than what his own mother endured. This is the most terrifying aspect of Yelu Yuan. He is not simply an enemy general. He is an orphan raised on hatred. He knows exactly how much it hurts to lose a father, so he deliberately inflicts that same pain, doubled, upon another mother. Looking at his older brother, young Yanding finally understands the true weight of those words. It is not a matter of who is unafraid of death, but of who yields the path of survival first. Ultimately, young Yanding stays behind as well. The 2 older brothers stand on the mountain pass, facing the Liao iron cavalry like 2 stones blocking a flood. They know they cannot hold out for long, but as long as they can buy even a single moment, their brothers can gain a little more distance. Young Yanping and young Yanding fall in battle. No words are needed to convey the news. Those who remain already know. For once the sounds of battle behind them fall silent, it means those who stayed behind will never catch up again. Young Yanguang takes charge of the group, continuing to lead his brothers and his father's body toward Yanmen Pass. But the Liao forces snap at their heels like wolves, giving them no room to breathe.
天波府杨延辉、杨延德有事相求。
听命！
With every turn, someone must stay behind. Every moment of survival must be bought with the life of a brother. When young Yanguang falls, there are no grand speeches. Young Yanhui and young Yande press forward. He was once warned by his brothers to eat fewer betel nuts, told that they were of no benefit. But in the end, he says he needs the stimulation now, for he is exhausted to his absolute limit. His blood is nearly drained, and his legs can barely support him, yet he cannot afford to fall. The pursuers close in once more. Young Yanhui and young Yande realize they can no longer travel together. They leave the final leg of the journey to young Yanzhao, entrusting young Ye's body to him. Before each brother departs, his words sound like a simple, ordinary instruction. Follow the beacon towers, and you will reach Yanmen Pass. Make sure you bring father home. Yet everyone understands that this is not a map of the route. It is a final testament. In the end, only young Yanzhao is left. Carrying young Yi on his back and bearing the time bought by the lives of all his brothers, he takes one step after another toward home. Before him is Yanmen Pass. Behind him is Yelu Yuan. He carries more than just young Yi on his back. He also carries young Yanping's promise, young Yanding's resolve, young Yanguang's silence, the sacrifices of young Yanhui and young Yande, the unspoken regrets of young Yansi, and the gaze of their mother, waiting night after night at the gates of Tianbo Manor. Yelu Yuan catches up and mocks him, saying that each generation of the Yang family is worse than the last, that the first 5 died honorably, but when it comes to him, he only knows how to flee. He adds that young Yi's corpse cannot be taken away, because he wants young Yi to suffer the same fate as his own father. Young Yanzhao does not retreat. He simply tells Yelu Yuan that he carries far more promises than his foe does. Then he says, "I am the 6th son, young Yanzhao." This single sentence completely unravels Master Guigu's prophecy. 7 set out, 6 return. It did not mean 7 sons set out and 6 return. It meant that of the 7 sons who marched to war, the only one who finally returns is the 6th son, young Yanzhao. This was not a path of survival granted to the Yang family by destiny. This was 6 brothers using their lives to push young Yanzhao back home. Outside the gates of Tianbo Manor, Shi Saihua finally hears the sound of approaching hooves. But what she awaits is neither her husband's triumphant return nor her 7 sons riding home side by side. She sees young Yanzhao carrying young Yi, covered in blood and dust, looking as though he has walked straight out of hell. He speaks of us, for in his heart, his brothers have never left. They simply stopped along the road home, using their lives to deliver their father to the doorstep. In this battle, the Yang family does not win. Young Yi is dead, 6 sons are dead, and young Yansi even perished under the arrows of his own people. Pan Renmei's betrayal does not immediately bring retribution, and Yelu Yuan's hatred has already consumed too many lives. Yet the Yang family does not lose either. For while Pan Renmei could withdraw his troops, he could not withdraw the loyalty of the Yang family. While Yelu Yuan could hunt them down, he could not destroy the resolve of the Yang family. Their lives may end on the mountain path, but their promise must make its way to the family gates. What is truly devastating about saving General Yang is not that heroes die in battle. When heroes die in battle, one can at least call it glorious. The true sorrow lies in the fact that every single person knows they may not return, yet they repeatedly yield the chance of survival to the next in line. Young Yanping stays behind so his younger brothers can escape. Young Yanding stays behind so his older brother will not face death alone. Young Yanguang young Yanhui and young Yande stay behind so young Yanzhao can keep moving forward. Young Yansi dies beneath the city walls because he still believed that a life could be traded for a life. Yang Yi dies in Suwu Temple because he finally realizes that if he does not let go, not one of his sons will survive. In the end, young Yanzhao is not the most fortunate one. He is the most tormented. Those who died leave their stories on the battlefield, but the one who survives must carry all of their names for the rest of his life. The audience sees a single man carrying his father home, but what young Yanzhao truly carries on his back is the very soul of the Yang family. The cruelest blow of this tragedy is dealt not on the battlefield, but on the road back home. The father has returned, but the sons will never return.